the northwest part of Portland. This photo is from opening day. So they had a streetcar parade, lots of people coming out. This is one of the original cars. This is one of the newer cars. You can see they're slightly different. And this is down at South Waterfront. You can see the Portland aerial tram.
Another question, Mark, please. How many cars were originally and how many are new?
I want to say 7 originally. And then 8, 9, 10, 11 are all the newer cars.
1, 7, 8, 9, 8, 11.
And then this is one of the cars that are made in USA that's never seen a day of revenue service. It's back at United Streetcar for rebuilding. And you'll probably see that on Tuesday. And this is the streetcar alignment itself. There's more shots of the line. This is one of the few places in the system where you can actually get 2 cars side by side. This is it's on Lincoln. Right between apartment buildings. This is a stop. It's the only railroad station where you can get it past. And they usually do because there's a single track section just to the west. And only in Portland do you get a sign saying go by train and go by streetcar. Vintage trolley. So this ran on Max from Lloyd Center to 11th Avenue from 1991 to 2009. 2001, 2005, it also had self-service on the Portland streetcar line. And then right now, currently, it's only operating on the transit line. And these are 4 replica cars of the Council Crest, built by Gameco. West Commuter Rail, some of you guys may have written that earlier today. So it starts at Wilsonville to the south, and roughly follows I-5 and Oregon 217 up to Beaverton Transit Center. I-5 in the southern section and 217 are very crowded during rush hour. I can attest to that on a daily basis, because that's my normal commute route. I do take west on a rare occasion. I can get to work in an hour by car from Salem in the morning if I leave my house at 6:10 in the morning. Afternoons coming home, if I leave at 5 o'clock, it's going to take me an hour and a half to get home by car. West, if I drive to Wilsonville and then take west and TriMet Max, it takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on connections at Beaverton Transit Center. And with the peak reduction of service in early morning hours, I usually have to wait 25 minutes at Beaverton Transit Center for a connection to Max going westbound, because it's every 30 minutes at that time in the morning. The nice thing about West, though, it has wireless internet service, so I can get on the train and start working before I get to work. At least get my emails checked. All trains on West meet at Tiger Transit Center. They all have to pass, and then you can see an example of the gauntlet tracks that they run. So that's to allow the freight trains to clear the platform. So only the West trains are supposed to take the inner tracks at the stations. And then you can see the RDCs that they required to add service or to add spares, because in their infinite wisdom they have 3 self-propelled vehicles and then 1 trailer, and they need 3 cars for service every day. So they have to have 100% in order to meet service every day. Now, Portland aerial tram. So this is opened in 2006. It links the OSU campus down at the South Waterfront to the OSU, or what we affectionately call Hill Hill, up at the top, because there's 3 or 4 hospitals up there. And it's $4 to go up, nothing to go down. 2 more photos. Well, amateur trolley, unfortunately, won't be able to ride this, but it goes from Bancroft Street in South Waterfront, just 1 block short of the Portland streetcar, and then down to Lake Oswego. Goes through the Elk Rock Tunnel.
Now, am I correct? The amateur trolley used to go farther north.
Yes.
And some of that line has now been taken over by the Portland streetcar.
Right. So the Longshore used to continue down the middle of Moody Street and then out towards River Place. And now that's mostly run by the Portland Streetcar. And Lime Shore Trolley runs through some very ritzy areas. They don't really like us because we also have a generator to power us. They would love for us to go away, but then they really don't want Portland Streetcar to go down their backyards either. We originally had our Blackpool double-decker operating on the line as well. This is actually the original terminal at River Place when it was much closer downtown. We decided to retire the double-decker to just museum service because the wheel treads are getting rather thin to go 7 miles one way, and then there's 4 round trips per day in service. Future Salem. I was actually on a streetcar committee to put streetcars back in Salem. We got $50,000 in a study to do it. I put these couple photos together just to give some resemblance. There used to be the interurban line went down High Street there, so I figured to put it there. But then the city saw $50 million, had a heart attack, and so the transit district, so it kind of...
What's the upper left?
That is a Third Avenue car.
Right.
From
Why did
Vienna.
you select that?
Because it had the right angle.
And you're from New York.
And I'm from New York. This is the Portland streetcar loop. So this is the current line right now. This is the line that's under construction. I just drove through this area today. A lot of track work is in the north end. There's portions on the south end. And it's going to temporarily terminate down here until the light rail to Milwaukee opens, because it's going to actually share right away with Max going down Milwaukee over this bridge right here.
Where's Milwaukee headed, I see?
Milwaukee is down here. So Max, this is Max in the transit mall. You can see it's going to extend down here. I think it's going to go over the streetcar, and then it'll join each other right here, and then go across the bridge, and then we'll split out. I see some of the designs. It's very odd how they're going to get the lines to intermingle. I just would hate to see one of the Max cars hit one of the streetcars. Those couplers are high. This is Portland streetcars potentiality. I'm not saying this will ever happen, but one potential is Belmont. They also talk about Hawthorne, but businesses on Hawthorne Boulevard, even though it's probably would do better on Hawthorne Boulevard, do not want the streetcar. Meanwhile, the Belmont district says, please build me. So that's where they're going to go. And the Belmont line is also one of the first streetcar lines in Portland to line out to Mount Tabor, which is right out here. They talk about lines out to Broadway, Sandy Boulevard, MLK, and even more potential lines all throughout the region. And then this is the line to Lake Oswego that would take over the line of Charlotte.
Can you say a word for us non-locals, why there are two systems?
What's
Why
that?
there are two systems?
Okay, yeah. So Max is run and owned by TriMet. So that's a regional system. Portland Streetcar is a subsidiary of the city of Portland. And it's designed to be a development tool more than an actual transit tool. It's doing both, but it's really designed to bring money and developers to Portland to redevelop like they did for the Pearl District, what they're trying to do for South Waterfront.
So the long-term concept includes the streetcar up Lombard?
That's what it looks like. That's one of the actually Lombard, this section. This bus route is one of the busiest in Portland. Milwaukee light rail. So this is what I alluded to. So it's with the green and yellow terminating currently. And they'll come across the bridge with the streetcar. And they'll come down all the way down to Milwaukee. And then right here where it hits Lake Road, it joins the original lines that went to Oregon City, the first interurban on this right away right here. The original interurban basically went around the world. So what is old is new. This is another line that potential might happen. This is north is this way. So this is the interstate bridge where I-5 crosses the Columbia River today. But as part of, the bridge is antiquated. It was originally a 3-lane bridge for streetcars and just city traffic, and then they added the second bridge that parallels it. That's another 3-lane bridge when it became I-5. Now it's over capacity. Portland's worst traffic jams are always at the I-5 bridge, and it's a lift bridge, which does get lifted for river traffic. It's one of the only lift bridges on the interstate system. So they're talking about extending the Max Yellow line onto either its own bridge or maybe within this bridge, and then going into Vancouver. There's lots of fights about it. It was supposed to be a 16-lane bridge. Now they keep reducing it down to probably where it won't be anything.
Mark, a quick question about the Milwaukee line. Would that be using the Portland terminal tracks because you mentioned it would only go into the old traction tracks between the last 2 stops, but doesn't Portland terminal have from tracks all the way from OMSI down?
Yeah, that's the old electric line.
Yeah, but they wouldn't use that?
No, they plan on using the street right away. So this is McLaughlin.
There's also railroad track. They couldn't go alongside that, I guess, because it wouldn't be accessible to...
Yeah, they're trying to get it so it captures more pedestrian or local residents.
So what's the street that it covers?
This is McLaughlin Boulevard, which is a very, very busy north-south arterial going down to Milwaukee.
So they can still run the steam locomotives that are going to be based at OMSI down the Portland terminal tracks and won't be...
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. There's been talk of this line actually looping around back towards Clackamas Town Center, so have a full loop. There's also been some talk to go towards Oak Grove, maybe Gladstone, but I doubt it's ever going to get to Oregon City. It'd be nice. A lot of the right-of-way exists. It's actually it's a trail now. They call it the trolley trail, but I don't think it's ever going to come back. And then this is just the Portland Regional Master Plans for 30 years on light rail or high-capacity transit throughout the region. So basically, a lot of Portland's old stuff will come back. So that's it. Well, thank you for coming.
I have a question. On the light rail vehicles in Portland, interchangeable with the light rail vehicles in Seattle, they both operate in